generation.
Legacy. Okay.
So what do we do? What are we passing down?
No, I think
We passing down debt, dilapidated communities, no businesses. You know, a lot of young people look at that kind of stuff, and they understand. We may not realize it, but this is the most intelligent generation that we've ever produced. That's why they're the most. Young people don't have any fear.
Yeah.
But the challenge with that is, this also is the first generation we've ever produced where the adults and the parents and the children act the same way, wear the same clothes, listen to the same music, use the same drugs, drink the same alcohol. So where is the leadership coming from?
Yeah. No.
How do you? I mean, what do you say to that?
Well, I'll say this:
As a leader,
as a
leader, as an emergent leader,
right.
what do you say to that?
I say we have work to do. I say that it's if we were of the opinion that all we could do is take care of our own children, then we might as well admit defeat right now. So for me to think that all I should be able to do is to make my little money at the university and go on home or write this book, write that book, and not care about somebody else's young person, that would be admitting defeat. I'm not prepared to do it. I'm not prepared to do it. So part of what we have is I love what the brother said. These young people aren't dumb. That's why they went to the streets. When they saw that Mike Brown Jr. was laid out in the street and he had graduated from high school.
Oh wow.
That he was fixing to go to Cabana. And they said, so this is what you get when you graduate from high school? This is what you get when you do things, that everybody asks you to do? And when you heard his mom talk about, you don't know how hard it was for me to get him through, it touched her heart. So the idea is we need a way to replace these institutions. Now this is an important thing. Replace some of the institutions that meant so much when we were growing up. So I'm not one of those you remember the good old days kind of person, because forward is typically better in my mind. But much of what went on at the church house had little to do with praying. Much of it had to do with leadership training. Much of it had to do with you learn how to give your first speech at church. You learn how to read. I learned to read at church. You learn, you learn how to respect adults or elders, as we call them in our community, elders. We need some kind of institution. If it's not the church, we need another kind of institution to replace that.
There's a lot that's missing. I've heard both of you gentlemen say there's a lot that's missing. What do you think that next institution is? Is that what you're building up and fostering through your network? Are you building that next institution that's the conduit to get to that next level, that next thing? Thank you. Because it has to be a connection.
My objective is to try and help change young people's thinking about their situation and circumstances.
Okay.
Because the present situation that we're faced with right now, a lot of our young people feel hopeless. They don't value anything. I mean, when I would do programs in school, let's say we got a room full of about 15 to 20 children, I would always poll to find out how many young people in this environment or in this classroom has lost a loved one to violence, gun violence, gang violence. 80% every time, 80 to 90% every time. How many young people had a family member shot and killed? 70 to 80%. How many young people, how do y'all feel about living? We're not afraid to die. So why would a young person, 12 years old, tell you he's not afraid to die when he's never even really lived? So that means you have to change that thinking.
Okay.
That's because of the environment that he came up in. Basically, trained his thinking that way. I mean, when you walk out your household, you got to duck bullets. When you come home from school, you got to fight your way to the house. You can't walk to the corner store because somebody down there selling dope. Or the corner's crowded with a lot of gang members. You know, mentally, you got to adjust to that.
Right.
You know, and try to figure out how to navigate through it. So my goal is to try and make people understand that there are things that you can do yourself to help you get out of your situation, get out of your circumstances, get out of your condition. And part of that is education. But also you got to understand the importance of community and they understand the importance of what your culture is all about.
And right now they're dealing a lot with survival.
Yeah.
More so than before they can even think education.
Absolutely.
They're thinking,
How am I going to eat tomorrow?
right, how am I going to eat? Or, you know, mom and dad working late, food on the table, let me get to class, whatever the case may be.
Well, wait a minute now. You said mom and dad. Statistics say 50 to 60% of black homes are female-led. So where is the dad? And that's the imbalance. You don't have a black male in the environment. So I had a young person. I've even had, sisters say that, well, that's my son, and I can teach him to be a man. You can't do that because you're not a man. You're a female. You can teach him how to be a good son, but you can't teach him how to be a man. A lot of our young men, honestly speaking, really don't have the skills and the necessary training to understand what it is to be a man and how to be a leader in your community. I mean, my father...
Because they've never seen it?
No.
Or because
my father was in my life.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? There are certain things that he instilled in me at a very early age that I still carry with me to this day, which was take care of yourself, take care of your family, take care of your home, go get you a good education, get you a job, or get you a business. That's what I was taught.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
You know, my father not only said get you a job, but try and get your own business.
Right.
I'd rather pay somebody than to get paid. You know, and we have to learn all over again how we can get our young people to understand that they have value in this world, that they are important, and that they are contributors to society.
If there's any one thing I know as an historian, that is that black people will survive. Like we're the best at it. That we'll always survive. It's the truth.
That's an understatement.
It's the truth. We're the best at it. Our issue is, will we go beyond survival to thriving? And that's what you have to instill early on to the young person that doesn't have much food, has to, goes to the chop suey place to eat all the time, goes to the Quick Trip to eat all the time.
I don't remember the Quick Trip, brother.
I love them both. I love them both.
Alone, Stefan.
I love them both. Thank you for that.
They don't have that in their community.
Well, now,
Now they may not have that. But letting that young person know, yeah, we're gonna make it. Yeah, we're gonna make it. And so it's okay for you to dream and to dream in color. And that's the thing is sometimes we allow our young people to be so beat down. We don't even let them dream. Right? We don't even let them dream. So part of what we can do is just allow our young people to dream, teach them some important lessons, some very important lessons, which have to do with accountability. I'm not one of those people that says it's all based on accountability, because there are some systems in place that are keeping oppressed people oppressed.
yeah.
But the one thing we can control in our lives is ourselves. And so you learn to outwork everybody. That's what you do. You learn that you're just as smart as anybody. You may not be smarter than anybody, but you're just as smart as anybody. So these are the early lessons that you have to teach. You learn that you don't respect old people just because they're old. You respect them because they have wisdom. You learn to respect other people because you intend to live a long life. And so these are the early lessons that we teach. The other thing we got to teach too, is this idea that we make college and university life, we make it seem so far away. And the truth is, and I'm telling you this from experience, that the students in the university aren't always the smartest students, the smartest young people around. aren't always the smartest young people around. So it's up to universities, people like myself, to push our universities to think about ways to get the smartest young people, not the ones who are best bred for university,
Right,
but the smartest young people, and for thinking about ways to go beyond our traditional ways of getting young people for university life.
You guys enjoying the food?
It's outstanding. Outstanding.
Yes,
Good. I want to wrap up by saying we've talked about a lot of topics. So we've said some things that are key. Okay? And if we needed to go through and list the bullet points, we could. But my question is, what is the next step? What has to be the next step after authentic conversation? Okay, so after we have authentic conversation, how do we bridge the gap? What's the next step in getting our youth understanding that education is important? Understanding your heritage is important. Okay, how do we do that? And then because like you said, Stefan, we're going to survive.
Yeah.
It is what it is. We're going to survive. So, as you're counseling, and I'll say this, you mentioned something that was key. There has to be an institution in place because we've missed it. We've missed our assignment, if you will. Some of us, young men that are not in the homes, that are out doing whatever we're doing, or incarcerated, or whatever the case is, we missed that assignment. So, Brother Kabir, what is that next step in bridging that gap to get these guys to what's getting over the hump? And you talk about psychologically getting it there, but I want the real. What's the real? And because education on that end, like you said, we make it seem so far to reach. You know, you see a young, good-looking brother like that, a student, and he's like, "Look, man, that ain't that." Again, education is not sexy to me. But you show me a couple of pretty ladies on campus, then, maybe I'm thinking a different way.
Right.
Just being honest.
No, it's true.
What's that hard pill that we need to swallow to move this generation forward? Because there's no respect. There's no appreciation for it. There's not, and I saw this with my 13-year-old son. It's not even being taught in the schools anymore, man. When we grew up, there was that bit of history that helped you to understand whether you grew up in the suburbs or when you grew up right on Page and Lithgow. It was there. It's no longer there. They've taken it away. So what's the next step? I'm sorry. I keep talking.
Yeah, it's
Food's
okay.
good.
It just motivates our thoughts. But first of all, until we can identify and produce genuine, fearless leadership that will challenge racism and white supremacy and the systems that are imposed on us. Our young people will continually to be just wandering in the wilderness, if I want to use that term. So my point is this: our young people are looking for direction.
Yeah, of course.
Particularly our young men. They're looking for strong male leadership. But when you have leadership, so-called leadership, that doesn't challenge the things that are causing all the difficulties in these young people's environments in their life, then they won't listen to it. Because they don't feel they have nobody to trust and follow anyway, because they don't have their best interests at heart.
Is it that, or is it that we don't look like Jay-Z, or we don't look like some of the other artists out there?
I look at certain aspects of hip-hop as just tools of the enemy. And what I mean by that is, you can get 60 to 50,000 people at a concert, but you can barely get people to come to a free GED class. You see what I'm saying? They'll spend all their money going to a concert that's not going to benefit them, but something that can benefit them that couldn't even be free. You won't even take advantage of it. So that just goes right back to our thinking. But the population that I've always tried to focus on, or the young people that our society say that they're throwaways, we don't want to have anything to do with them, those are the ones that I like engaging. Because what I've come to find out is those young people are the most intelligent, the most articulate once they're given the proper tools
Because
to express themselves.
Because
Great.
they want it.
Yeah.
They want it. I think the difference is that they want that next. You know, you touch them enough to where they want that.
Sure, absolutely. And I don't think there's no such thing as a bad child. I believe there's a such thing
There's
as
bad behavior, but
right.
not bad.
I think there's a such thing as an environment that precipitates bad children.
You agree with that?
You know, environment is everything. Brother Stefan and I was talking. We got different levels of educational systems in this society. Rashad is not John Burroughs.
Nope.
But Rashad is not Metro either.
No.
So you got John Burroughs,
Yeah.
you got Metro, then you got Rashad. And you look at what happens in those environments. Communities are the same way. The dude is not saying what's happening in Grant. You understand what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So when you look at that environment, but you can go out Brentwood and see a totally different environment. You see thriving businesses, young people working at the stores, people spending money. And then you come do the comparison and contrast, and then you come down to North St. Louis. You see dilapidated buildings, derelict environment.
So it's based on what they're exposed to.
Absolutely, exposure is everything.
No, I think it's an excellent point, and I'm hopeful. I'm very hopeful, and I'm a winner. And so I see us winning this, and there's a couple of different ways to do it. Number one is what our young people need is something that we haven't been able to give, and that's a certain amount of attention. That is, all right, fine, you're not employed, but your child goes to school. Why don't you go up to school with your child to make sure that he or she is doing well. He's doing well. One of the things that we have to teach our young people, and perhaps our adults, is this idea of ownership. That school belongs to us. Like, we paid for the school. Like, it belongs to us. All those teachers work for us. And I'm not talking about in the sense that we go up there and disrespect the teachers or anything like that. But we tell our young people that this is your neighborhood. Like, so what I say do for, you want concrete steps is this idea that parents, do yourself a favor and at least once a semester go up to the school and see what your child does. For young people, what I would say is start asking them what they want to do for them, And if you don't, this is for the parents talking to you. If you don't know the different kinds of things that are possible for your child, and look it up on the internet. Everything is
Google it.
Yeah, and make that possible, because what I found is young people say, yeah, all right, I want to be a rapper, I want to be a ball player, and this kind of stuff. That's because that's what they see readily available in that way. I go to school sometimes. I keep my little suit and tie on and that sort of thing. They say, here comes a lawyer, because that's all. That's all they've ever envisioned. And so you have to, that kind of exposure that the brother was talking about, that's important for young people, and they can't do that themselves. But for young people, you tell them to dream. No, I don't see why not, and you show them how to do it.
Valid point. I was just thinking about that. I remember when they had this youth forum down at this church. Real crowd, a lot of young people there, a lot of adults there, a lot of so-called leaders from the community.
So-called?
Yeah.
Did you say that right?
Yeah, so-called.
That's the shade that the
Yeah, right. So you saw the shade too.
The purpose of the forum was to ask young people, what do you want? What do you want as young people? Since we got all this violence and stuff going on, what do you want so we can stop it? Now the interesting thing about that is, which brings me back to your question, what do we do? What's the next steps? The next step is we give them directions. We don't ask them what they want. We tell them what to do. I'm sure you were raised like that. I was raised like that.
Absolutely.
I didn't tell my father what I wanted. He told me what I was going to do. He told me how I was going to do it and how long it took to get it done. I didn't tell my mother what I wanted to eat. She told me this is what you're going to eat and you're going to sit here and eat. So for us to go to young people who are not at the level of maturity to make certain decisions in their lives, why would you go to them and ask them whether they want it? And that's part of the problem.
But we have to be careful though, because we do have to listen to these young people.
Yeah, we have to listen to them. We're not saying that. But how is it that you're supposed to be the adult, but you asking the child what to do? That's my point. The child's supposed to ask you, what am I supposed to be doing? And that's where we are now. So that's why I talk about this is the only generation where the parents act the same way, wear the same clothes. So who's gonna lead who?
Well, gentlemen, I want to thank you. Food was great.
Absolutely, fabulous.
Love the conversation. Hopefully we hit on some things that actually hit home and made sense.
I hope we brought a lot to the table.
I think so. And I think through talks and conversations like this is what's going to help get us better. The absence of leadership is serious. It needs to be corrected.
We make leadership. That's
Absolutely.
I agree with you on that, bro. Well, guys, appreciate you.
Yeah.
Thank you, brother.
Thanks so much.